Hey everyone! So I decided today I wanted to do a video blog rather than type all this out, even though I already had it all typed out. But I just got done doing my sweat workout for Piyo. As you can see, I'm a little flushed. It's an amazing workout where basically you're doing these great moves and you don't really feel like you're burning a lot of calories or really sweating until you actually stop and you're like, whoo, a little sweaty. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the herniated disc that I have, as well as how Piyo has helped, and hopefully encourage some of you that are in chronic pain to try out Piyo. There is no proven medical or anything that says that Piyo will make you heal. I'm only going off of what I have experienced. But first, I'm really excited because I found my jacket. So I got this Shakeology jacket when I was at Summit. And Summit was a huge deal for me to go to. It's got Shakeology on the front, Shakeology on the back, and it's really comfortable, especially when fall coming. But anyway, so I got the jacket when I was at Summit, and Summit was a huge deal for me to go to because 6 weeks prior to that, I was diagnosed with my bulging herniated disc, and I was told to stop all workouts immediately. I couldn't work out, I wasn't supposed to do anything strenuous, I wasn't supposed to lift anything more than 10 pounds, and I basically stopped my lifestyle of working out. I had been working out, up until then, up until the beginning of April, and it was just really hard to take in. So the way I got my herniated disc is I wasn't in a car accident, I wasn't in some massive sports injury or anything like that. What had happened was a couple weeks prior I had bronchitis, and for those of you who have bronchitis, you just cough and cough and cough and you don't stop. And so I originally just thought I just had a sinus infection with the cough, everything was draining, nothing big. Well, I was wrong. So I finally did go see the doctor and get meds, and my bronchitis stopped, but I started having severe sciatica. And if you've had sciatica, you know that it runs down the side of your leg. So basically, it's going to go from your glute all the way down into your knee, and can even go as far as your ankle. And it was on my left side, so I didn't think anything of it. It's sciatica. I've had it before. I had it in '08, I had it at my friend's wedding. As soon as she walked down the aisle, my sciatica started acting up at her reception, so I was popping pain pills in her reception, which I don't think you ever knew about that, so sorry, Nikki. So the next day, we went home, and my husband had a cane because he was getting over a blood clot, so I was using the cane to get on the plane and, just get home with the sciatica. You can imagine a plane ride when you have sciatica. So I just figured that's what this is. It's sciatica again. Not a big deal. Put some heat, pop some pain pills, we'll be good to go. And I was wrong. Again. So it was on April 28th, 29th, I really started to hurt. Lifting my son was painful, standing was painful, everything just hurt. No matter how I sit, I couldn't get comfortable. I was putting ice packs on my glutes. I couldn't ease the pain. And it wasn't until on the 30th, after I dropped off my son, April 30th, that I called my dad crying. And I don't call my parents crying, but I knew I had to talk to somebody because my husband was in training down in Florida. He couldn't come home. I still was trying to take care of my son, who, he's 2. You still have to lift him in and out of the car seat, in and out of a high chair, or he's got a booster chair, in and out of his bed. It was, I just had too much I had to do, with diaper changes and potty training and baths. It was just too much. So my dad told me I had to get to the ER to at least make sure it was nothing more serious. So I picked up my son from daycare at the time. We drove to the ER, and the ER told me the same thing. You have sciatica. They gave me a shot in my leg to ease some of the pain, which it did nothing. It was basically here, we're just going to give you a shot, but no effects with it. So in the meantime, my dad was already on his way here. He booked the earliest flight he could get out of Ohio and get down to where we were, here in Georgia. And so basically the next day I had already made a doctor appointment because of the bronchitis, but figured I should just keep it, make sure, the bronchitis is gone and everything. Luckily I kept that appointment because the second I walked in with him, he knew where the pain was, what I was telling him, how I was feeling, that it was not just sciatica. So the next morning he ordered an MRI and rushed the results. I was basically crippled over. I couldn't stand up straight, which is very, to him, it's very severe. Some doctors, that's normal. to him was very severe, especially for how active I was before that. So he was very concerned, especially because I was starting to get the pain in the right leg, so it was now pushing on like both nerves. So it was like pushing out and into both nerves for both legs. And so he was very concerned by that. So he rushed my results and confirmed that it was a bulging herniated disc between L4 and L5, which the L stands for lumbar, so it's the lower half of your back. So just above your tailbone, there's two more, and then it starts all your L's. Imagine like when you're sitting, you can kind of feel it. So he immediately went and they did referrals for a back specialist, which we have military, which is amazing because they take a week and a half to get you referrals sometimes. And unfortunately, this was one of them where I had a week and a half. So in the meantime, my doctor gave me meds, which I was like popping like they were candy. And as much as I am against medicine, they were the only things that were helping me. They were basically knocking me out so that I could just rest and not feel the pain. But I was on Percocet, methocarbamol, Lycerica, and I forget what the fourth one was. Oh, Prezidone. But I was on all of those just to ease the pain. It didn't take it away or anything. It was just to ease it. So about a week went by and my dad had to go. My mom came in, so they basically swapped places because I couldn't take care of my son. I had already been restricted to no lifting, no working out, no standing for long periods. So there went meal planning, working out, taking care of my son. So basically I was kind of like, what do I do? My husband's not home, and I have a house to run, and a family to take care of, and pets, and a business, and I just was lost. So my mom came down to, cook meals, take care of the house, do the laundry, give baths, whatever had to be done, she basically took over. I was bound to the couch. So throughout this whole process, and this was now we were into May, I kept seeing that summit wasn't going to happen. I couldn't walk. I couldn't work out. I was basically depressed, which is what happens when you get chronic pain. You basically just feel like you can't do anything. I mean, I was bound to the couch. I couldn't even get up to get yogurt. As much as I wanted to, the pain was just unbearable. And yes, while I did suck it up to go shopping, I did use the ride-around carts. So I mean, it was very hard for me going from independence to having to depend on her for everything. So finally I went to Summit, and I knew I had to go because I had to buy Piyo. Had to get it. Had to. The reason why I had to get this was because it was a no impact workout, which means there's no jumping, there's no running, there's no high intensity, kill your knees, kill your back type workouts. It's not like Insanity at all. And I didn't have to use weights, which means I was using my own body weight for everything we were doing. So any of the strength exercises, I'm using my own body weight. And it was saying that it was going to give me flexibility and it was going to help, lengthen my body. So why not try something? And this was all after I had talked to the back doctor who wanted to do 15 to 20 injections, do a surgery, and maybe I would be cured. And that was not a maybe I was willing to take. I was not willing to do 15 to 20 injections in the next, he was saying May to December. So that's the end of this year. And then surgery, which could have a 2-year turnaround time, because basically what was going to happen was, if this is my vertebrae and the other vertebrae, right here in this middle part is all the disc, and that's what's bulging out. But for me, after they looked at my MRI and they looked at my x-ray, they saw that this is a vertebrae and this is what it's supposed to be. Mine is about that big. So that meant that they had to shift this vertebrae back up, or they had to take some of the disc out, which is like that jelly material that you see. They would take that out, which meant down the road that could be all gone, and then it would just be bone on bone. So obviously I had a lot of things to consider. So one of the things is what happened was when I went to the back doctor, I was already upset, and then my husband called to say he was leaving for Japan for 2 years without us. So I was lucky enough that my mom was with me, and she took me to go get my nails done, because what doesn't cheer a girl up but getting massage on her feet and nails done and shopping? I just was ready to go eat a bowl of ice cream. But instead we went there, and the lady told me about a chiropractor, so I went and saw him. He took x-rays, he confirmed everything, and I started seeing him. And he got me to the point where I was hunched over to standing up. So that was good, which then meant that I could do Summit. I could finally go to Summit because I was able to at least walk, and I was able to sit for a longer period of time. I mean, I still had a 2-hour car ride to the airport. Luckily, some local friends, we carpooled together to the airport, as well as we had a 4-hour flight, not to mention then, I was in a room with 7 other girls. Yes, we packed into like sardines into hotel rooms for this. And I basically was sharing a bed, which is hard when you have a back issue because I needed pillows between my legs. I needed extra pillows, to stay comfortable. Not to mention I'm on a soft bed, which is horrible for your back. So, it was really hard. But I got through Summit, and I got my jacket, which I was kind of upset when I lost, but now I found it. Helps when you clean up your office. But, so I got that, and so that's where I went and I got Piyo. And this is why I am in love with this program. Now, what it's done for me may not work for you, and that's okay, because you may be doing it for a different reason. You may be trying to do it for the same thing, but not everyone has the same exact injury. I mean, I met people who they have a bulging herniated disc at L4 as well, but theirs is different than mine. Their pain is different. Everything's just different. We're not the same. So, I'm going to disclaim here right now that this is not medically proven to make you better. This is only my story and what has helped me, but it can help you. You just have to be positive and try it and see, and if you don't, you can always return it, so why not give it a try? But I am in week 5 of doing Piyo. I have not been able to do it straight through every single workout every single day. I have had my low days where my back aches just too much, and I at least do, the warm-up that you'll see, and I've done downward dog and chaturanga and up dog, and that helps, but sometimes that's all I can do, and you have to listen to your body on any workout. Anything you do, you gotta listen to your body. So I am on week 5. I didn't start it right when we got back. I wanted to do it with my challengers in the first group, so we are on week 5. Sorry, I'm still out of breath from doing sweat. So what I have now noticed is it has helped ease my back. I no longer have any pain in my legs, no numbness, no tingling, no aching, nothing like that, which to me was all I wanted. The pain that I was getting was in my ankles. So you could have sciatica, and it could be in your thighs, it could be in your calves, it could be in your glutes, it could be anywhere. Mine was in my ankles, which was painful. Anytime you walked, you just felt it. I just felt like somebody was taking my ankle and just twisting it in all these different directions. And I couldn't get rid of that pain. Even the chiropractor, no matter how many times he would maneuver my back, we just could not get rid of that pain. Now it's gone. It just, all of a sudden, one night, everything is gone. So, which I know is to help to the chiropractor and to Piyo. And by the way, I stopped taking all my meds 3 weeks after I started them because I couldn't remember anything. I was getting blurred vision. I was exhausted. And I felt like a druggie on them. I wasn't making sense by the end of the day. So that's a little disclaimer too, that I got off my meds. So I was doing all of this without any pain meds, outside of what I took at Summit just to get through the day, to make sure, but I was not taking it like I was. So I started the Piyo in July, and I did week 1 and week 2, and then I stopped week 3. I did only about 3 or 4 of the exercises out of the 6, just because I was feeling it. And then last week I only did a couple because I twisted my ankle, which you'll see my lovely little brace that I have on now, because it's twisted, sprained, rolled. They don't really know. They just know I did something. At least it's not broken. And my son got hurt at the playground and has a hairline fracture in his knee, so last week was a little crazy. So I only got a couple in, but this week I started back up right on with Monday. You start Monday through Sunday, with Friday your rest day, and I am now following straight through. But since last week, I have had no pain. My back is just a little bit sore. Some of that is because I spent 3 hours meal prepping, which I haven't done in months because I couldn't stand that long. So I was really excited to be able to meal prep everything for this week finally. And so I am crediting Piyo and Shailene, which she'll probably never see this, with getting my back, being healed, being able to walk, swim. I'm not running yet. I'm not lifting weights. And just being back to myself, which is the biggest thing. When you're in chronic pain, you don't feel like yourself at all. So I definitely recommend Piyo to anybody who is sore, hurting. Even if you're not, it's just great. It's just a huge, great stretch opportunity. I mean, you stretch for 30 minutes your body, and it just feels great afterwards. I mean, I even have my husband doing it, and he's fine outside of his knee, but he's fine. So, you know, he does it just to get the stretching in that he needs. And so, I mean, I definitely credit that program to getting my back. Something that's supposed to take 2 years to heal on its own if you do nothing. Something that 3-4 doctors wanted to do 20 injections. And when I say injections, they're not like the itty bitty needles that you get when you get a shot in your leg. They're the long epidural needles that you get when you're in labor. They wanted to do 20 of those into my back, or surgery with putting a rod in my back, you know, to space out that vertebrae. And I just wasn't for it. It wasn't me. I listened to my body. I'm glad if that's the route you've taken and you've gotten pain-free from it, because that means it worked for you, but it wasn't for me. So please don't take it as I'm discrediting doctors or anything like that. That was just not for me. And I had to do something more natural for my body. So definitely check it out. If you don't like it, you can always return it. You can always sell it to somebody else who needs it. Just try it, because you never know what it's going to do for your body. I mean, I'm sitting here 5 weeks later from a pain level of 20 down to no pain at all. So that's my blog for today. A little bit about my herniated disc, how it happened. We still don't even know how it happened. It was basically bronchitis was the straw that actually broke the camel's back. But I'm 5 days pain-free. Hopefully it stays a lot longer, and we don't have another shoe, like the other shoe doesn't fall off saying, and that I am pain-free for good and can go on about my life. But for now, I'll stick with Piyo and stretching, and with the stretching and eating clean and drinking Shakeology, and, you know, just getting healthy and fit and tightening up my core to keep my back strong. So have a good rest of the week, and I'll catch you all later.